I'm here with Christopher Hajec, and he is the spokesperson, director of litigation for the Immigration Reform Law Institute. And sir, I wanted to ask you about a change the Biden administration has implemented with regard to immigration policy, paroling some of these immigrants who come in illegally, allowing them to remain here and then come for some sort of a disposition hearing. Is this policy change by the Biden administration in any way legal?
No, it's not legal. What Biden seems to be thinking he can do is sort of the mirror image of the power the president has in law since 1952 to suspend the entry of aliens in the national interest. That's really just up to the president, whether he wants to suspend a group of aliens or all aliens for that matter, such as when Trump suspended all entries, all green cards during high unemployment during the COVID lockdowns. But there is no such power. Presidents used to use parole to do this. But in 1996, Congress, thinking that this had led to abuses, reined it in. And now you can only give parole on a case-by-case basis for urgent humanitarian reasons or significant public benefit. And that, I think, means that there has to be something about the person himself as an individual that makes letting that person in the public interest.
So this policy with the Biden administration would be too broad, overly broad, perhaps?
It is overly broad and programmatic, and is to let people in en masse, as he is doing.
Do you suppose it will be soon will be challenged in the courts then?
It is being challenged now in the courts by the state of Florida and the state of Indiana.
Talking about states challenging laws, of course, the state of Arizona has stepped in to try to regulate the immigration surge across its southern border. I'm wondering what you make of that effort on behalf of a state taking charge, in essence, of their own border security.
It's from the Constitution. Two states now, Arizona and Texas, have declared war on the drug and human smuggling cartels that are invading their states. And the Constitution says quite plainly in Article 1, Section 10, that without the consent of Congress, states may engage in war if actually invaded or in imminent danger of being invaded. And they don't define invasion further than that. So if a state thinks that it's being invaded, and the governor of Arizona and the governor of Texas have both determined that, then they can make war on the invader, and without the consent of Congress. And there's nothing that Congress can do about it. There's nothing the federal government can do about it, because that is raw constitutional power.
Do you have a prediction how this may play out then in the courts?
I would hope that our view prevails. And I think there's a push on or a view among establishment lawyers, even establishment conservative lawyers, that all public policy belongs to the federal government. States have no role whatsoever. So they would read this very narrowly and say, the only kind of invasion that counts is an invasion from a foreign government where the troops have marched into the state to take it over. But that's not what the Constitution says. It just says invasion. And when James Madison, who some call the father of the Constitution, was selling the Constitution at the Virginia ratifying convention, he said, don't worry about the government, the federal government not protecting you. If it doesn't, states can still protect themselves from invasion. Remember when Virginia defended itself and made war on smugglers, you can do things like that. Well, smugglers aren't foreign powers, they're not state actors, and neither are the cartels, but they are a foreign entity that is invading the United States.
Christopher Hajec, who is the director of litigation for the Immigration Reform Law Institute, talking about states being able to exercise their authority against foreign invaders and taking a position in the courts in support of some states doing just that. Christopher Hajec, thank you very much for talking to us on One American News, sir.
Thank you, John.